and then, ooh, what's that? They've hit the back. On your driving test, you're going to get asked to do 1 of 4 maneuvers. I'm going to show you the different ways that you can fail on them and how to avoid them. Let's go. When it comes to doing the reverse bay park, the simplest way to fail this is by going into 2 bays and not realizing. So let's say I look around and then I reverse back and I end up in between 2 bays like now. So some learners will leave the car like this, but this is going to get you a serious fault. Easy way to rectify this is by using your mirrors first of all. If you can't see the lines in your mirrors, you're probably not in the bay properly. Another way, just open the door, have a look, and you can see straight away that if you can't see the line next to you, then you're probably not in the bay as well. If you really don't know where your car is, just secure the car, tell the examiner what you're doing, come out and check, and then correct it. So this is an easy way to correct, easy thing to correct. So right now I'm in between 2, so I can use either the left or the right. I'm going to go towards the right because there's less things going on over there. The cars are on my left, so those cars are on my left, so I can go that way a bit more. Check this side, steer that way, and then I want to get my car straight over this side before I reverse. I want to get it straight-ish. This way, when I reverse back now, it's going to be much easier. I just need to make small adjustments to get inside the bay. So looking around, I don't need to worry about using 2 hands. I can just use 1 hand. It's more relaxed. Even put my hand here if I want to. Makes it nice and easy. Yeah, looking everywhere. Then once I'm in, I can then stop the car and secure it. Another easy way to fail this is not realizing how far back you're going. For some learners will go back nicely at the beginning. Everything's going great and everything's going good. But then when they should be stopping, they don't. And then, ooh, what's that? They've hit the back. It's too late now, you failed. You should never hit the back, because if you do that, it shows that you're not really aware of how big the car is and how far back into the bay you are. That could be someone's car that you just hit now. To avoid that, so this wing mirror here, I'm going to use that. When I reverse, I'm going to stop once this wing mirror is above the line in the front there. Once it's there, I know that my car is in enough and it's not too far back. I can also use the mirrors as well, or I can just stop the car. If I'm really unsure how far back the end of the bay is, I can stop the car, open the door, have a little look, and then that way I can then know. If I still don't know, come out and check, and then I'll have a better idea of how far the back of the bay is. Just like going back too far, you can also fail for not going back enough. So if you go back and then you leave your car sticking out the bay, let's say you finish like around here, yeah. So now I know I'm outside the bay because I'm using my reference point. The line's over here when you should be underneath my wing mirror. That's how I know I'm definitely out of the bay. The front of my car is sticking out. So if you don't rectify this, this is going to be a serious fault, because again, it's showing you're not aware of how big the car is, and you're now sticking out and potentially cars going past you now, and you're causing a nuisance because now you're in the way of everybody. So same remedy for this one. The same way to kind of correct this is just using the mirror. Make sure that I've looked around, make sure it's safe, and then once it's above the wing mirror, I know that I'm back enough, and I stop there. So lots of people use reference points for this reverse bay park. What can happen is you might miscount the lines that you're using. So you're normally supposed to count 3 lines from the bay that you're supposed to end up in, but if you miscount them and then you end up 2 lines away, what could happen is you might start reversing and then start turning into a bay where there's already a car in there. And I've seen learners do this and they've realized too late, and then by the time they've realized, the examiner has stopped them, and that's a failure. So to make sure this doesn't happen, make sure you're counting the lines properly. It's 3 lines from the bay that you want. If you somehow still manage to get it wrong, you can still correct it before it's too late. So if you see your car going towards the other car, just stop it, you look around, go forward, and maybe even choose a different bay completely that's nowhere near that car if possible. And then this way, when you look around now and reverse, you're nowhere near the other car, and you can do the maneuver without worrying about smashing into that car that's parked over there. Yeah, that way you're less likely to get serious for that. If you're not confident with this maneuver, you can quite easily end up with the car. So some learners will do this and then do all this, and then now they're completely confused and they'll leave the car wonky because they don't know how to correct it. An easy way to master steering when you're reversing is just turning the way you want the car to go. So make sure you check out this other video that explains this. First of all, don't start too close because that's going to make it much harder. Start a bit wider, and then I'm going to get into reverse, look around, make sure it's safe. And then if I start reversing, let's say I'm turning into this bay, and then I've realized that I want to turn a bit more right because the bay that I want is more this way. I'll turn the car towards the right, and it's going to start going that way. And then once I'm to the right enough, I'll turn more left. Yeah. And also, I don't want to be doing big turns and then big turn here. I'll think about where the car's going first before I do more turns. So right now, it's going where I want it to go. If it wasn't going that way, then I'll turn the other way. But I'm not doing it quick turn there, turn there, turn there. You might have seen experienced drivers doing that, but they're doing it because they know what they're doing. And they're doing it because that's what they want the car to do. But if you're doing it just because you're panicking, you're going to lose track of where the car is going, and you're more likely to end up really wonky. Just like when you're doing the other maneuvers, it's really important that you stop for anybody going past you. So if there's a car going past, if there's pedestrians near you, you need to make sure you stop the car fully, let them do their thing, look around again, and then move when it's safe. On the forward bay park, learners can easily fail because, again, they might go into the bay and then not realize that in between two bays, they'll stop the car there, and without even checking, they think they've done it. But all you have to do was open the door and check properly, or come out the car, and then you realize that you're not in the bay properly, and then sort it out. Another mistake learners make on here is going too far into the bay. So they'll go forward into the bay. They might even do it nicely, but then they go so far forward, they might end up hitting something, or the examiner has to brake because they don't want them to hit anything in the front. So to avoid this, use your little mirrors on the side there, or you can use your wing mirrors as well as a guide. So right now, if I stop when my wing mirror is above that line at the front there, I know that my car is not too far forward, and also it's not too far back. It's actually in the bay properly. So that wing mirror over the line is really useful. It might change slightly depending on how you sit, but for most people, when that wing mirror is above the line, it usually means that you're not too far forward and you're not too far back in the bay. So if you park on a side where there's no curb between the bays on this side and the bays on that side, so like here for instance, you're not allowed to go all the way across. So you should be parking and finishing in this bay, but some learners will go across this line and try to finish over here. You're not allowed to do this. You're going to fail for doing that. You need to make sure that you are finishing on the first bays. Treat the line in the middle as a wall and don't go over it. Learners will make this maneuver harder for themselves by starting too close to the bays, and then when they try to finish the maneuver, they can't do it because they haven't given themselves enough space. To make this simpler, start really far away from the bays like this. So instead of starting close, what you can do is look over your shoulder, move a bit towards the right so that you create space between you and the bays on this side. Then when you signal now, you have lots more room to actually turn into the bay. This way it gives your car more time, more space to get into the bay, straighten out and stop. It's much easier that way.